Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Friday morning. Got a great show lined up, and we'll get started, as always, with our weather, brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Everybody check out all the programs there. Some good folks over there. I know a lot of them. Listen, it's only going to get the high of 67 today and a low of 46. And the water temperature stays at 70, so it's dropped again. But I want to, we got this cold weather coming in and all. And we flashed back. Gail and I did have Blair Morgan on the phone too. And he and I all grew up in the same area, and Gail and all. And we have one TV station in Tallahassee. It was called WCTV. It's Channel 6, and we were all farming communities, Gaston County, Madison County, Jefferson, so farming was a big deal, and so everybody watched Channel 6 every evening for the weather. It was a big deal. We didn't have all the weather channels, everything we have now, and that's about the only place you could get it. And the weatherman on Channel 6 was a guy named Willie the Weatherman. Now, Willie was a character. He was about 5'4" and about 300 pounds, and had a mustache, and a lot of times he'd have a cigar in his mouth. He'd put it down sometimes when he was talking. And he was a character, but he did the weather, and he was really good. But when these cold fronts, and that's what made me think about this cold front coming through, Willie the Weatherman would always, if it's a really cold front coming bearing down on us, he would have a big old map of the United States and go up toward Canada, and he'd point way up there north of that and say, listen, we got some really cold weather. It's coming from Siberia. This cold weather's so cold. And this is a Siberian Express. And he would tell us that. And when cold weather coming in, it got to be a legend around that Big Bend area. If a Siberian Express was coming in, what it was a bitter cold front. And I had Blair still remembers that too. But anyway, when the cold front comes in, I can't help but think about Willie the Weatherman. He's passed on now, but he was quite a character out of Tallahassee. All right, let's go to our river readings. We're looking at the Apalachicola River near at Bluntstown. It was at 1.9, so it did get below 2 foot, but it's going to be real pretty this weekend. It's going to be a little chilly, but it's going to be pretty. Choctawhatchee Caryville, again, we predicted all week, and their chart's correct that it's just stayed level. It's at a 2.7, not any movement in either river system, so we're looking good there. Take a look at the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and their motto is when carrying counts. And we're looking at today is November the 7th on a Friday. Good strong tides. We have a low tide this morning at 6:12 and a high tide this evening at 8:35. Now, talk about floundering a lot on weekends and all. It's going to be excellent on tides and all, but maybe it'll be a little cloudy and all, keep that moon away. But it's going to be should be a good night. Be a little chilly and windy, so you want to stay out of that north wind. Speaking of the marine forecast, it's going to be coming out of north at about 10 to 15, so be aware of that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Captain Blair Morgan. He's on the phone. Good morning, Blair.
Good morning, Winston. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. Do you remember Willie the Weatherman?
Yeah, I tell you what, though, you're telling everybody how old we were, how old we are, and back then, we didn't have Doppler radar and all that stuff.
That's right. Yeah,
Willie had to go by just what he knew,
And he was really, and everybody counted on him. And that shows, how technology is advanced and all, but he was pretty accurate most of the time.
Yeah, he was. Actually, he was a lot more accurate than these radars are right now.
That's true. That's true. Well, buddy, tell us what's going on down there.
Well, most of the local folks are either bow hunting or getting ready to go. Squirrel season opens this weekend, and that's kind of a family ritual. Everybody gets their kids and go camp out along the Apalachicola River up there on the sandbars, and they got fish camps up there. So this weekend, the woods will be full of people up there squirrel hunting.
That
doesn't sound like a war up there, because I looked the other day when I was up there fishing, not catching any fish, but right in the middle of the day, there was all kinds of squirrels out feeding. I mean, I saw a bunch of squirrels this year at a place where I didn't see many last year. So.
Well, you're right on that. That is a tradition here in the Panhandle. We haven't talked a lot about it this week. In previous years, we talk about it a lot, but it is a weekend, and there'll be, like I say, a lot of campsites set along the river.
Yeah. Matter of fact, most campsites, this time of year, they fill up from people going camping and it's a family thing. Everybody takes kids, just go out and have a big time, and the weather ought to be beautiful this weekend to go along with it. So, but anyway, as far as fishing, the fish they're moving right now. If you can find them and stay up with them, you'll do good. Otherwise, you have to go and hunt for them because they're not sitting around in one spot right now.
Yeah, and I guess we're talking. You mentioned that front coming in last week. That really slowed things down too, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I was talking to some local mullet fishermen, and they went right before one of the fronts came in here, and they did really good one day, and then the rest of the weekend and most of the week they didn't do too well. So you just got to be there when everything's moving.
Were they doing good right before the front came in? Do those guys like to do it in a particular time? They know the front's coming. What do they try to do?
Those mullet, they're getting out of the bay. They're heading out to the Gulf, and they wad up like a bunch of. You can go out there and just catch a bunch of them at one time. They just get in a big wad.
Yeah.
They're leaving out of here. So.
Yeah. I realize that. What I was asking them, those fishermen, do they try to time it? I mean, they look on the weather and.
Oh yeah.
And they
definitely. They're waiting on those fronts to come through.
Mm-hmm. That's a good outdoor tip because those guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. But I'm looking here at the bay right now out of the house. I don't see a boat anywhere out here. So.
Wow.
I mean, not much going on out here.
All right. Well, Blair, thank you for that report, and good luck tonight with the ball games and all, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, y'all have a good weekend.
All right, buddy. Thank you now. Captain Blair Morgan with Blue Water Outriggers. He's always there on Johnny on the spot, in the woods, in the water, and always great to have his input on it. Blair and I go way back. Now, let's take a look. Let's go and do our fishing game time for today because we may run out of time at the end. This is brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty. This is interesting now. The time is that 2-hour block right in the middle of the day, only one time now. It's at from 12:12 to 2:12. So, we always joke about taking time off for lunch, but and going fishing, and that would be an excellent time if you can. Like I say, I caught a little pompano the other day with just a little 30-minute break right there in the morning to do it. So you never know. And I showed that redfish of Nick Tramontano last week that he caught during lunch up there in North Bay in Lynn Haven. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us on this Friday morning. I know everybody's getting ready for a great weekend and getting outdoors, doing some things. A lot of football games all throughout the Panhandle. So take advantage and just get out and do something. All right, let's. Got a lot of. Well, I don't have a lot of pictures. I got some good stories with the pictures. So let's get started on some pictures. This first one, this is cool. Now this is one of my. These are two brothers. You can tell because two brothers in it. Okay, but what is cool? They're in my. On the left is Alex. He's in my class now, and on the right is his brother Aaron, who's already graduated. Folks, they are in South Dakota this week. Now, and listen, what's cool about this is that he told me he came to me last week, and he had to leave for this whole week. We teachers have to sign for the leave. I said, Alex, where are you going? He said, my dad and my brother and I are going pheasant hunting in South Dakota. So I'm thinking about them flying up there, staying in a motel. I said, well, tell me what you're going to do. They drove up there, put a little camping trailer, but their buddy's going with their daddy. Their dad has a buddy going with them, so there'll be 2 grown men and 2 boys. The grown men going to sleep in a trailer, and the boys going to sleep in a tent in South Dakota. You think they got cold this week? But I thought what a great father-son time that is, but you see the pheasants. I know they took the dog with them, and they're hunting on public land in South Dakota. So that was Alex Thompson and brother Aaron, and I just thought that was a great picture. So when he comes back, we're going to do a little interview with him. I know he's cold though, South Dakota. All right, our next picture. Ken Paramore, remember he was on the show. Last time he was on the show, he said when the show was over, he was headed to the mountains, and his wife Debbie took this picture, and these are the elk that's in the Smoky Mountains. What a, of course they're protecting them, but what a great picture. But you think you're out at Yellowstone right there, but that's a great Smoky Mountain Park. All right. Next picture, we're looking at. This is a shark that was taken. Let's see. Let me see. I got 2 pictures. Okay, let's go to the flounder. 3.8 pound flounder. 3.8 pound flounder. caught by James Weslowski. That's a nice flounder there. And don't forget, Monday night, the Panama City Kayak Fishing Association right here locally will be having their monthly meeting at 6:30 at the El Jalisco restaurant on 23rd Street. All right? We all are welcome. This is my first selfie. This is the little pompano caught the other day. I say 11.5 inches, and he was legal, but I threw him back because I just didn't have time. We're getting ready for the we're in St. Joe at the Cape, but we're getting ready to go to Apalachicola for the seafood festival. We had to set up by 9 o'clock. I ran down to the Cape in a little 30 minutes, and they were biting. Look at the water. This is before that front came in, and that's the first selfie I've ever taken. That's one for you folks knowing what a selfie is. When you take a picture of yourself, because I was down there completely by myself, no one anywhere. So I wanted to show that my fall pompano. That's my fall pompano run there. All right. Okay. Now, this was Wednesday. I call this Wahoo Wednesday Wahoo. That is a beautiful wahoo. That's Ryan Huggins there on the right and fishing, and that is a really pretty wahoo. Good job there, fellas. Manatees. They're out at the pier. The county, I don't know if it's county pier or city pier. Bill Angevine took these pictures. Here's a better picture of it. See, their manatees they're headed. You can look at them now, it looks like it's headed south, headed away from the pier. All right, that's a good one there. And a lot of y'all feel all week while I can fish, the water looks like this, and then when I finally go, the water looks like that. I think a lot of y'all can identify that. Usually during the week, Monday through Friday, it's that top picture, and Saturday it's that bottom picture. All right, and let's see. That's we got a couple more pictures. I think that's about. Oh yeah, I got right here. That's what that picture was. This was a broken rod. Okay, Mitch Coleman sent me this picture this week, and what they did, they broke on that shark there, just shattered that rod. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to be running out of time. Let's go ahead and talk about. Let me see. I got an email. Let me read this email. I actually have two emails. This is one. Remember, I had a young lady, Brittany O'Link, who graduated, and she was up in Illinois, and she sent a picture of her getting a hunter safety badge, she and her aunt. She said, and I told her to watch the show on YouTube, and she sent me an email afterwards. Said, "Hey, Coach Chester, I just wanted to tell you my family and I watch your show, and we love it. It was my first time after watching it, and it was very interesting. Now she's up in Illinois. I'll have to keep up with you on YouTube since I don't get a channel up here. My aunt and I feel famous now. I love hearing all the stories and information you give out on the outdoors. But to keep you updated about my uncle, about this hunting trip, my Uncle Mike took me, my two cousins, Ethan and Caleb, and my neighbor Daniel out duck hunting yesterday. Now, it's excellent duck hunting season up there. We didn't see or get to shoot anything, but it was just so nice to be out there away from the world and technology for 5 hours. It was a little chilly, so me and my cousin Ethan had to cuddle and share a jacket. But I now understand what you mean when you go out there and you see the sunrise or sunset and just being in the woods and enjoying quality time with the people you love around you. Love always Brittany O'Link, and that's what we try to portray. You know, all of this. You know, being able to actually get outdoors and do these kind of things, and you don't necessarily have to shoot a bunch of ducks or catch a ton of fish. Just getting outdoors, and if we can get that message across, especially to young people, and they can appreciate it their whole life. And I thank you, Brittany, for sending that. One more email. This is from Rudy Smith, one of our YouTube viewers. This is actually to Brad Stevens, and he sent me a copy. He talks, the first part of the email, thanks for getting me set up with the new Hobie Revolution last month. It's fantastic. My only regret is I should have gotten it earlier. And he went on and talked about how much he enjoyed it. And then Brad, thanks for getting the right components. And Steve, thanks for helping me set it up. I'm copying, okay, here's what I want you to say. I'm sending a copy of this in Winston Chester because I got acquainted with Sunjammers through Panhandle Outdoors. Best regards, Rudy Smith. And it makes me feel good that, you know, people who watch the show will go out to these sponsors, these advertisers with us and trade with them. And folks, our advertisers and sponsors have been with us since day one, and there's a reason for that. So if you have any family or friends in business, anything that want to advertise on here, you can see the results we get. We get them on a regular basis, and we're just real people doing real things, and people like that, and you viewers like that. And y'all are so good about supporting sponsors. So if you have anybody who wants to come on and advertise on Panhandle Outdoors, tell them to call, just send me an email, call me, have them call me. I will call them. I'll go by and see them. We always need advertisers to keep the show going, and it's always good to talk to people. So if you get a chance, we do that. Let's take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's do this little short segment here because I'm running behind, but I want you to see that we talked about migratory action of all the ducks and all the geese and all. And Ducks Unlimited, of course, you know about the organization. I won't go into detail about them, but they, on their website now, they have this map of the United States, got all these dots on it, all these blue dots. And here's the process you go through. You can get a daily report on the migratory route of any ducks in any area. So I'm going to show you a series. What you do, you go to Ducks Unlimited, and then you search. You go to search and all, and this is a map. This is a map right here on Rider Touch map. Okay, now once you find your dot, I typed in. The next thing you do, I typed in Panama City in Florida, then I hit search for that, okay? And here's a report from Panama City. There's just a whole list of reports. It tells you time and date and everything, so you get all those. You just touch on one of them. I just touched on one to give you an example of what it would look like. And this is sent in by Travis Burkett. This was November the 5th, 2014, and he said right there, nothing new on Deer Point, just a few woodies. And the activity level, no migration, just a few local birds. So that is really good stuff right there. And now to lead us into our fishing report, this is just to show you the red snapper are still alive and well. This is caught this week down in Mexico Beach on Mitch Coleman's boat. But getting back to the duck migratory routes, you can go to Ducks Unlimited and you can check it. If you want to check in North Carolina or the Mississippi Flyway, you just touch one of those red dots. It's really fascinating because it's daily, up to the minute report on that, so you can check the migration. But right now it's a little bit early, but anytime soon, a couple more of these cold fronts, we're going to start getting some out-of-state ducks coming in. All right, now let's get ready. We're going to take our final break, and we'll get things set up for our famous Friday fishing forecast. And I tell you, we need to do our drawing, don't we? Let's go and do our drawing. Tarpon Rock Seafood drawing. Okay, this is for a $20 gift certificate. The first person we drew is Sheila Wyndham. Sheila Wyndham, all right? That's a $20 at Tarpon Dock. And the winner of the big red snapper, about the size of the one you just saw on the screen, is Mark Jones from Defuniak Springs. Got a lot of viewers up there, and a big ball game tonight up there in Defuniak Springs. So that's our two winners today. Let's take our final break, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Famous Friday Fishing Forecast, brought to you by Tarpon Dock Seafood. And it's really overall it's been a slow week. We had that front come in Saturday and Sunday and blowing out of the north, and it just really slowed a lot of things down. But it calmed down a little bit last couple of days. So we've had some good reports. You saw that big flounder James Weslasky caught. The mahi has been caught. But let's go to Mexico Beach. We got this report from Captain Mitch Coleman on Florida Days Adventures, and what he said. Water's about 73 degrees over there. They'll be catching a few whiting along the beaches on cut bait. And the flounder and trout and canal near the pavilion. I'm going to here's the Mexico Beach Canal. And this is just an excellent place. You can just walk out there and fish. And it's convenient. It's not hard to get to. And the flounder, you can catch some flounder there. And like I say, you can also catch some trout coming in there. And now they were also... that's just a good place to walk and fish. A lot of people don't have boats, and a good place to go right there. And Mitch also said he caught some out by the carp bodies. They caught some nice Spanish and small king. So that fall run, we sort of hit the tail end of the fall run. We'll go to St. Joe Bay. We just talked to Blair, and he, like I said, this morning there's not a soul out there fishing on St. Joe Bay. But the early part of the week, I can promise you, last weekend, right before that front, there was some a good pompano run. You could just tell they were moving around, and we wish we'd have had more time to fish for them. They did catch some whiting. I looked at the stump hole. There's several guys out there catching whiting last weekend. When I say last weekend, I'm talking about Thursday and Friday, actually before the weekend. Okay, now going over here to Panama City. The Crooked Island Sound's been fair. Of course, everybody's talking about the flounder. Again, I keep hearing the same reports over and over from good fishermen about how small the flounder are this year. The ones they're trying to gig and all, they just there's not big size to them, and a bunch of small ones out there. But I've had stories of guys actually catching some in a cast net, and accidentally, of course, throwing them all back. But he said they were just all piled up, but they were all a bunch of small ones. So be aware of that. Also, out at the pier, they have caught a few kings this past week and a few Spanish, and the mahi. I had a couple of, you saw the picture of the mahi I showed yesterday, some little dolphin, mahi dolphin were caught. But the small, again, I got small flounder written down. Over in, the mullet fishermen are out. Each one of these cold fronts now, like I said, these mullet fishermen know each one of these cold fronts, right before they come in, those mullet know that, what's going on. And they're bunching up now, and they're going to be taking off, headed out. And they always keep the eye to the hill, is what they said. I was talking to some guys. I got some good reports last week at the Seafood Festival. And by the way, I will be out at Holly Fair tonight, this afternoon and tonight, and all day tomorrow with my book and some Panhandle Outdoor stuff. I'll be in the Diver's Den booth. So, and I always, now this is more of a later thing, but last week, so I won't get to probably talk about a lot of fishing, but last weekend I ran a lot of folks. We talked about a lot of fishing, a lot of local folks, from the East Point area and Carabel and all, and we talked a lot about fishing, and we talked about how big the mullet run each year is going to be. So they really get into it down there. Now, redfish bite has been slow this week. In fact, on all this report, I've got slow. The front's been moving in. We had a couple of good days this past week, so it hadn't been a tremendous report on catching a lot of fish because the wind just holds people back. But got a north wind coming today and this weekend, so try to get out of that north wind. And like I say, if you're fishing at Cape or you're fishing out there off 30A, you're going to be in pretty good shape surf fishing. And then also on the rivers and creeks, you're going to be in good shape if you can get out there. West Bay, you want to fish the north side of West Bay. You want to trout fish this weekend. You want to fish the north side of West Bay, where the two creeks, Burnt Mill Creek, comes out right there. It should be good this weekend. Should be protected. I've run out of time. Thank you all watching this weekend, and we always appreciate that. We always want to thank God for these beautiful sunsets and the hungry fish. And again, thank you for watching, and do something good for someone else. Have a great weekend, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.